Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Torch Mom podcast. We have a special guest with us tonight, Erica, a Torch mom taking on risk and crushing hate daily. Welcome to the show, Erica.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you, and it's a pleasure for you to be here with me tonight. I'm ready to jump in and get this party started if you are.
Yes, I am so ready. I'm so excited to chat.
All right, well, let's get this chat running then. What was your childhood like, and how do you think it shaped the woman you are today?
Great question. So, I grew up in upstate New York. So, anytime I'm like telling people I'm from New York, they're like, "Oh, what part?" And I'm like, Troy. And they're like, "Oh, so not the city," right? Like New York is so much bigger than the city, but grew up in upstate New York. And I grew up in Troy, which is about 10 minutes from Albany, which is the capital. And I grew up with mostly my mom and my grandmother raising me, which interestingly enough, my mom and my grandmother are white. And so it was interesting going to college and being like, oh, like there are other multiracial people, which I knew a few growing up, but it was just a different experience than friends that I had growing up. So growing up, I mean, my mom, my gram's husband at the time were amazing to me. Did the things I wanted to do, tap and jazz dance all the time, like different experiences. I can't complain about all that they did. Like I'm so grateful. My mom had me when she was 18. And so we kind of grew up together. And I remember she was finishing college because she had me in New York. There's a winter break. She had me during winter break her senior year. And she says like she wouldn't have graduated unless she was pregnant with me because she would have failed PE because like she didn't like have the excuse was, oh, I'm pregnant. So anyways, she like finished high school with a newborn and then went to college. I remember like her studying and stuff, and she went and got her cosmetology license. So I feel like so much of who I am is because I watched her like be independent, get the things she wanted, do the things she wanted to do. I remember one of her goals was to buy a home, and in sixth grade we moved in with my gram so that she could like finish saving up, and we bought a house. And like middle school through high school, like we had a house. And later she sold that home for, house prices were crazy. So she sold it for like double what she bought it for. So just like seeing her make these moves and my gram just being amazing and like doing arts and crafts with me, teaching me to sew, like random things. I just feel like all of that has made me be like super independent. I'm married, but like I'm still like, I can do all this if I need to do all this. So I always have to work on that. Like you're in a partnership. But I think that has definitely shaped who I am. And then I know I mentioned a little bit about being biracial. I think that has also shaped because I remember experiences where like I would be hanging out with my white friends as a kid and we'd be like playing hair. And I'm like, you can't comb my hair. Like you see these curls, like, and it was just like a moment. So I think that also shaped my like just awareness of that there are like differences and that there are people who might, I'm always thinking about people's voices being heard and the underdog and all that, because I think like that, was me as a kid and realizing like, oh, there are people like that all the time. And I'm always going to root for them and have their back and try to like, bring their voices into the mix. So that's a little bit about, I mean, I know we could talk forever about our childhoods, right? But that's just like the snapshot highlights and how some of the ways it shaped me.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I appreciate you sharing that. And I love those women for making sure you were able to do the things that you really wanted to do in life and growing alongside you and you growing alongside them. I think that's the fun part of motherhood. Before you step into it, you get to see it, you know?
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
so who were you before motherhood? What were you passionate about? What did your life look like?
Oh my gosh. where should I start? It's like there was a lot of me before motherhood. I think like I can work backwards. So before having our first son, I was a really, really young principal and teacher. So I moved into leadership at 26, which is
Okay.
crazy. I do not recommend. But I have always been passionate about teaching and being an educator.
Mm.
Like I was the child who lined up my dolls and like I was the teacher and had like a clipboard or a binder and we were playing school. So I always wanted to be a teacher. I went to the University of Maryland and I started off as an education major, and the middle of my freshman year I was like, what if I don't actually want to be a teacher and this is my only major? Let me switch. So I switched to communication sociology. And so but then I learned about Teach for America. And I don't know if you're familiar with Teach for America. It's a nonprofit that places non-educators in low-income communities to serve and teach for at least 2 years. I ended up teaching for 3 years in my placement school. And then came back to my placement school was in Atlanta, came back to the DC, Maryland, Virginia area and taught, and that's where I became a principal. So I was very passionate about being an educator. And I spent a lot, like you're like, what are your hobbies? What were you into? I spent a lot of time at work, like a lot of time at work. So much so I was a principal when I was pregnant with my son. And my husband was like, you need to slow down. Like you are about to, I literally it was summer training. He was born in August and I was about to present the next day. And I was co-facilitating with 2 other people. And I was like, I think I might need a chair to present. And they were like, are you okay? I was just like, I just can't really breathe and talk and stand at the same time. Like super pregnant. I was like 9 months pregnant. And then I had the baby the next day. So they were just like, this is crazy. But I was definitely a workaholic. Like I haven't heard that term in a long time, but that was me. Overachiever, principal at 26, like trying to turn around this crazy school. And so, yeah, that was me. I ended up also becoming a Pure Barre teacher. Love Pure Barre. So if you're not familiar, it's like inspired by ballet. That's why it's bar, because it's at the ballet bar. But it's like Pilates, inspired by yoga, ballet, and bar. It's not dance, but it's like isometric movements where you fatigue your muscle groups to the point of shaking and burning. And it's like this really intense workout, but super fun. It's all to music. And so at some point as a principal, I was like, I need to do something else. And I was like, I love Pure Barre. Let me see if I can be a teacher. And I like forced myself to leave work and go teach at least one night a week and one day on the weekend. So I was doing that. I'm really into like reading and all this stuff. So before being a mom, I was like super laser focused on career, and a little bit of Pure Barre here, hanging out with friends, going to like football games for Maryland because that's where we went to school. And so stuff like that. But definitely being a mom has changed me a lot.
I bet. With you saying that, what were your biggest fears or anxieties about becoming a mom?
Mm.
How would you say you prepared yourself for that transition?
Well, clearly I did not prepare myself well because I was working up until the moment I had the baby. So I feel like, honestly, I don't think I had a lot of anxieties about being a mom. I had a really, really good pregnancy. And like, I felt so powerful being pregnant. I was just like, I am literally creating a human. This is crazy. Like, I don't know. There's just something about that experience. And so the reason why I say like I clearly did not prepare myself is because I like worked up until, I was like about to present the next day for over 100 teachers for summer training. And then I actually taught Pure Barre that night that I went into labor. So I was like, literally, I used to teach the 7:15 classes. So I taught at 7:15. I got home. My husband was mad at me because he's like, you are so pregnant. You need to relax. So his idea of being mad at me is cooking me this like shrimp dinner, like this crazy dinner. He's like, I'm going to cook you this great because like you need to chill. So he like cooks me this dinner. And then I went into labor at 11 o'clock, like full blown. There was no easing into it. It was like the baby came. Yeah, it was there. Because I clearly was like in labor, just not realizing, your first pregnancy, you don't really, I mean, at least me, I think I was like probably in some type of labor before, but anyways. So I was like really like go, 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 go until the baby came. And I think because my pregnancy was so good and I felt so strong, I was super confident. I was just like, I can do this. Like, I've been around kids. I taught second graders, were the youngest I taught, but I was just like, I don't know. I've been around kids. I can do kids. Like, I got this. I'm meant for this. Like, that's how I felt. Like, my body is doing what it needs to do. I'm meant for this. So I didn't necessarily do anything to prepare for being a mom. I prepared a lot for having a baby. Like, we did birth class, like 12-week birth classes. I was like very, very serious about health and fitness. Obviously, I'm still working out up until having the baby. So I think I just felt like people just do this. I can just do this. I really didn't do much. Now that you're saying that, just jump into this whole human that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so during your pregnancy, like in the room, did you face any challenges during that time?
So I said I have a really good pregnancy. In the very beginning, I did have stuff go on. I had ovarian hyperstimulation because we did IVF and my ovaries produced a whole bunch of fluid in my stomach. I had to have 7 different surgeries where like they put me under and drain the fluid out of me 7 times. It just kept coming back and coming back. So like I say I had a good pregnancy. After that, I had the normal like 13 weeks, not normal, but normal for me, happened for both my pregnancies, 13 weeks of like fatigue and feeling kind of gross. But after that, I was like, I'm good. But once we got in, you asked about like the labor, right? Yeah. So I told you we did this class. It was the Bradley method. I'm not sure if anybody, yeah. And so this is like 12 weeks and it's not necessarily about like what to do when you go. Well, some of it is what to do when you go into labor, but it's not like Lamaze was it called Lamaze class where they like teach you to breathe? Like,
I think that's what it's called.
Right. Who does that? I don't think anybody does that. That is weird. But anyways, it wasn't that, but it was like she talked about drinking enough water, about working out, about what to eat and how to prepare your body. She talked about how to get the baby, because basically my goal was to have an unmedicated birth. And so it was like how to make sure the baby's in the right position and all of this, and like basically teaching your partner what to do, because like you're not really going to be with it. So that was great. And when I started having contractions, my husband, it was 11 at night. He was like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. And I was like, you're going to do what? He's like, yeah, I'm just going to go to sleep. Because she told us, which is true. He was paying attention during the classes. He was like, told us to like get rest. And I was like, I was annoyed at first. And then I was like, he's right. We should like try to get rest, because first pregnancy, you hear it could take like 30 hours. Like you hear these stories about like it being a long time if you're trying to be unmedicated, not have a C-section, all this. So I'm like, okay, he's right. So he falls asleep instantly because clearly he doesn't feel anything right now. I try to lay down because she said, and I was like, it might not be bad. I laid down for what felt like 2 seconds and I was like, oh no, I'm not sleeping through this. So I'm like up pacing up and down the hallway for however long. He wakes up, he set his alarm. So his alarm goes off and all the lights are on and I'm pacing and he's like, oh, this is real. I guess we're having a baby. So I labored at home. I'm like in and out of the bathtub. He's trying to give me water. At some point, I'm like, you probably should start timing these contractions. And so at like 5 a.m., he calls our midwives. We had midwives. I'm not like anti-medicine. I was not in a space where I felt like I could have a home birth, which I'm glad I did not, which I'll tell you why in a minute. But we had midwives who are associated with a doctor's office. And so, which means when I got to the hospital, I never saw a doctor, but I was actually under the doctor's like list of patients. And if anything happened, an emergency where I needed a doctor, he or she, they were right there and they would come in and be there. But luckily I did not need a doctor. I just saw the midwives. So anyways, he calls them at like 5 a.m. They're like, okay, put her on speakerphone, because they're like all midwife-ish. So they're just like, let me listen to her and I'll be able to tell if she's ready. So he puts me on speakerphone and they're like, yeah, you should probably start heading here or wherever, heading out to go to have this baby.
Mhm.
I like get downstairs. I have no shoes on. I'm just getting in the car because I'm like in between contractions. So we get in the car. Also, it's 2 weeks early. And so we didn't have a bag fully packed. And so he's rushing around. It was just crazy, like silly first parent situation. So he gets me in the car. I'm sleeping, contracting. It's like the worst drive ever, but I'm super tired at this point because I wake up and he brought me to the midwife's office, not the hospital. So we get to the hospital or to the midwife's office and I'm like, what are we doing here? He's like, they said to come in. Like I thought, and I was like, well, we're here. So we're going to go up there because here and like, I need someone to tell me what's going on. And like, if the baby's coming right now.
Right.
So she checks me and I'm 9.5 centimeters at the midwife's office, not at the doctor's. So they're like, you're not getting back in the car. They call an ambulance. I have to take an ambulance to the doctor's. I get in the ambulance. He follows in the car. And I'm like, if the baby's born, you're going to miss the whole thing because you're in the car. But you brought us here. So that's your, that's your fault right now. So we get to the hospital. Luckily, the hospital's like 12 minutes, 15 minutes away. Get to the hospital. We get through the ER. They're like, go right up. Like, obviously, I'm on the stretcher. Because it's an ambulance person and no one from the hospital brought us up, we get stuck in the elevator because the labor and delivery floor is like super locked down, right? So we're stuck in the elevator, we're going up and down. Finally, another doctor gets on that is like, clearly you need to go to labor and delivery. Like you have a pregnant woman on a stretcher. So she takes us. Luckily, I had hired a doula who I love her. So she met us at the ER. And she's in the elevator with us. So like, at least she's keeping me somewhat calm and together. We get into the room probably around 9 or so. And he was born at 12. I would say like that time in the room for me was like, it was great having my doula. She was like, at one point she pushed on my back and I was like, magic. I don't know what you did, but at another point she was like, let's sit on this birth ball. And I think right after sitting on that birth ball, I was like, oh, I need to push. Like I could feel the pressure. And I think I pushed for like 40 minutes and it came. Like it was pretty smooth after that. Like everything I needed to do, I feel like I had prepared my body and like, it was just, and then to the question of like, what did you prepare yourself after having a baby without any medicine? I was like, I can do anything. First, like I'm making this baby. I felt like Superwoman. Having him, I was like, oh, like, don't ask me anything because I'm way too confident right now.
Okay. I love it.
Yes. So I don't know. I feel like motherhood, if people are not confident after having a baby, like it's amazing. It's just amazing that your body can do that.
Well, it's good that you're here to scream it and let it be known so they can go back in time and remember those moments and be like, yeah.
Yes, I appreciate you asking me because after telling the story right now, my son is 6. So after it's like a few months, no one's asking you like, so I appreciate you making me retell that because I'm like, yes, I did do that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What would you say your biggest takeaway from your 13 years in public and charter schools was?
It's really hard to whittle it down to one biggest takeaway. I'll say the first thing that comes to mind. It's so hard because there's so many like different angles to think about what's important. I think the biggest thing for me is that children deserve and desire a really, really high quality education. And I think sometimes we forget that, like, I don't know, in education, it can be easy to forget how much kids really just want to learn and they really want to be cared about and celebrated and have fun and play. Like, there's so much in education right now that's like all about the numbers and the tests and the scores. And it's just like, kids just want to be kids, but that also means that they like crave information and like doing things well. And I think being a homeschool mom, it's like in my face every day because I don't have the like system breathing down my neck. I'm just like watching my son learn. And I think that is, even though it's hard to remember that as an educator in the system, I think that's a big takeaway that like every educator knows. It's hard to remember that when you're dealing with so much day to day, if that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would love for people to drop what sense it makes to them in the comments so we can find out.
I want to know too. I want to
Yeah.
know.
Were there specific moments that made you question how the traditional school system works for children, especially your own?
Yes. So my son went to a daycare school, but we did kindergarten and homeschool. So I did have a moment that I'll talk about with him in school, like the daycare. I called it school to him, but it was essentially a daycare.
Yeah.
They did some learning, but I'll share that moment. But in terms of like before having kids, but obviously thinking about my kids. So one moment, it's hard because I hate to like talk about other people's children, but there were multiple like safety things, and one of them while I was pregnant that I was just like, I can't keep doing this. And children are just children, and they have a lot, like some of them, all of us as human have a lot going on, right? Like in the world, and like people just child or not, child or adult, like deal with stuff in different ways, and some of it is good, some of it's not. And so yeah, there were just a lot of like safety things that scared me, quite frankly, as an adult. And I was just like, I can't imagine honestly, I wish that I was a parent when I was an educator, because I, like, after having my son, I was just like, I just looked at everybody differently. I remember like looking at the older kids and just being like, that's my son. Like I just looked at them. I never looked at them like that. Obviously, I wasn't a parent. So I don't know. I think there were safety stuff that made me question it. There was times when like children who were advanced were just bored and acting out, or sitting there bored and just sitting there and not acting in a way that we as society think is a problem. They were acting fine, but they weren't being pushed. And like, it's the system. It's impossible for one adult to give 35, 25, even 20 children everything they need. Like, that's not feasible within the 8 hours they have every day. So that time too. And then the time when my son was in school, the school called me on a Wednesday at about 2:45 and was like, we're being shut down. We need you to pick him up by 2:30. And I was like, excuse me? So they're like, yeah, we'll give you more information when you get here. When I got there, turned out that days before, one of the children, and this is a preschool, so they're 6 months, like there's an infant room and then up to 4-year-olds.
Okay.
And so one of the children who was coming back in from outside left the line and was in the like lobby area. It's a small area where the front door and then the door to the classrooms, because they have like extra security precautions. So both doors have to be coded to get in, but that child was in that space for an amount of time. I don't know, 30 minutes, for too much time for a young child to be there. And so they self-disclosed this to the Department of Education, which they're legally supposed to do. So they did do that part. But then when the Department of Education came and did a full audit because of this, they triggered to do an audit. There were other things that were not safety issues, but like all the children's education plans weren't up to date and stuff like that, which like not a super big deal. But the fact that a child was left for that amount of time, and that could have been my son, and who knows if if that kid luckily didn't get out, because this school it had a parking lot, but it's not too far from a busy street. And so it's just scary. And I mean, I know as a teacher, it's hard. Like you have 15, 23-year-olds that are all over the place. And like, it is your responsibility, it's your job, and that teacher should be held accountable. And I agree with that. But I also think the system is the issue. Like, these are all humans. It's you, it's me. It's like good people trying to be teachers and educators. And it's impossible to do everything perfect all the time. And so I was just like, I don't think it's for us. I just don't think it's for us. So yeah, there were plenty of times, but that's like a little overview of them.
Well, I appreciate you sharing those moments. Man,
Yeah.
took me back a little bit when my 13-year-old was small,
Yeah, scary.
It definitely is. And the choices that you end up having to be put in the position to make
I know. I know.
makes it
And it's
so much more uncomfortable.
right. Right. And it's just like America, the world is like not set up for parents to be able to like I posted something on TikTok at one point and someone responded was like, "You're talking with so much privilege about me being able to homeschool." And I was like, "Actually, I do recognize there's a lot of privilege in me being able to homeschool, but there's also a lot of sacrifice that I'm making too, and a lot of hard work that I'm doing to be able to do this because I can't just not work. I mean, I could, but like, there's capitalism and everything costs money. Like so yeah, it's just parents are really put in a hard position.
Mhm. Walk us through the turning point. When did you know specifically it was time to leave this system and take education into your own hands?
I literally, the moment I held him, I was like, literally, like, I maybe was not the moment I held him, but like maybe one of the first days being home with him, I was just like, I can't go back. I just was like, I don't know how I could do it. Even like he was not school age, obviously, he was like 2 days old. But I was just like, I literally cannot, because prior to him, I told you I was like a workaholic. I was working. I was the first person in the building. I was the last person to leave most days. So, and we started at 7 o'clock for adults. So I was getting up at like 5 a.m. to get to work 5:36, whatever time I could get there. And then I wasn't leaving until most day, like aftercare was done, 6, 7. And I'm like, how am I about to be in my child's life? Like I absolutely not. I was just like, I'm not doing it. I just can't. So literally my husband, we would like started having serious conversation. And I talk about how I made the transition. I like think about it as a sculptor because I literally chipped away at putting myself in the position I am now to be able to homeschool. Like I did not go from being a workaholic, being a principal, well, at that time I was not the principal. I was actually the managing director of leadership development or something like that. So I was at a charter school that was a small charter school, had done a bunch of roles, was like very, as I kind of describe them, like very dedicated to the community, to the families, to the kids. And so they actually, when I got pregnant, I think it was, yeah, I was pregnant because it was the end of the school year and he was born that summer. So they were like, we'll let you do part-time. So like they had never done this before. Like they basically made a role for me. Like I'm so grateful. I still love my CEO who was my CEO at the time. And so, but even still with that, I was just like, it's just too much. Like, I don't want to do it. So literally started thinking about how I could transition out and chip away at like, okay, I know I'm overworked right now. And then COVID hit and they asked me to come back full-time to be full-time, but like virtual. So I was like, sure, I'll still do it to help with recruitment and hiring because COVID hit and literally was in the middle of like, we need to hire these teachers for the next school year and we can't do it in person anymore. What do we do? And me being who I am, I'm like, it's easy, like XYZ, this is what we're going to do. Like, here's the plan. And they were like, can you lead this? So I ended up coming back full-time, but virtual, which was madness, as we all know. And then that November resigned to take a fully remote job because things started opening back up with schools around that time. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going back. I'm sorry, I can't do it. And I took a fully remote role. And then that role was too much meetings and stuff. And I was like, I don't see it. Like, I don't see how I'm going to stay home with my kids through this. So I took a different role. Like, I was just chipping away at like how to be home by myself. And then I started a business. So I was like, all these things. But that turning point was definitely just like him as a baby and me just being like, I don't want to see him for an hour in the morning and 2 hours at night. Like, that doesn't feel right to me. And I know for some parents, like some of my friends are like, I don't know how you can do this and not have a break. Like, I'm sure, I don't know if you get that, but I'm just like, I don't know how you do it and like send them. It like broke my heart sending him to school for those 2 years. Like every day dropping him off, I was just like, I just want to hang out with you more. I don't feel right about this.
Yeah, I can share that, man. And my daughter is 13, okay? And I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm not missing it. No, thank you.
Right.
If I gotta miss it, I'm not able to do it. That's just
Right.
how I feel. And I understand.
And don't you feel the other part that was weird to me is like, honestly, these people are strangers. Like, doesn't that feel weird to you? I don't feel comfortable. I'm like, I feel, I did my research. I met them before I like dropped them off, but like, I really, if honestly, if I walk past some of these people in the grocery store, I would not recognize them. They are essentially strangers, and I'm putting my child with them. I don't know them. I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is weird to me. Like, I know the whole world is doing it, but like to me, it feels weird.
I'm telling you, tears coming out my eyes standing in the daycare. Okay, like,
Yes.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel it. Mm. How was it scary, freeing, or both
To homeschool?
to leave your
Oh,
education
I
system?
bawled. I cried so hard. I was so scared. And I was a different person at that time. I won't even say I'm recovering anymore because I really just don't care. But I used to be a really bad people pleaser, like hard. And so I felt so bad. Like I felt so bad. I called my CEO and I was just like, I like couldn't even talk. I was crying so hard. Like it was pretty sad. Like, girl, get it together. I was a mess. So yeah, I felt really bad. I felt like I was letting down the school, the kids, the family. And like to be honest, the show will go on, Erica. And it has, and it's actually the school is doing a lot better since like myself and a few of us left actually. So I feel like it just needed that probably too. So yeah, the show will go on. I actually I have a lot of side stories, but I went to India my second year of teaching and we were going into one of the slums, which is what they call it. And like, I don't know if you've seen Slumdog Millionaire, that movie.
Yes.
That is 100% real. So we were going into the slums. I went to India through Teach for All, which is a partner organization with Teach for America. There's a bunch of different Teach for Alls across the world, similar concept as Teach for America. So I go, myself and 5 other people are selected to go, like free trip, crazy. So I go for 10 days and we're going into the slums and it's people from America, but then it's people from other countries too. And this British woman was on the bus and she was just like, I just don't feel right about going into their community and just like walking around. Like, I just feel like I'm, I don't know the word she was using, but she just didn't feel right. She felt like she was imposing on their community and like, which I kind of get, whatever. One of the kids from the community was on the bus and he was like, ma'am, who do you think you are? He was like, you are not gonna, like, basically he said in more words, like the lesson I took away from what he said that I literally to this day, obviously I'm telling you, I think about it all the time. He was like, you're actually just not that significant. Like, the world is way too big. You coming into our community for an hour is not, nobody's worried about you, basically. And so like what it made me realize is like, we are all super insignificant if we're just completely honest. And we are also very significant in our own world and what we do. And so like, I just always think about the fact that like, things are going to go on without me, but I also can make an impact, right? And so although I had that lesson in the moment, I was just feeling really bad about leaving. So it was hard. It was scary. I was not scared in terms of like, what's going to happen? What am I doing next with my career? Because I had a new job. So I had set that up. And I don't know. It's interesting because I have my moments of doubt and have my moments of imposter syndrome, but I also am a fairly confident person. Like, I'm like, if I need money, I'll make money. Like, if I need a job, I'm going to find a job. I have enough contacts. Somebody's going to, like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be saying this. There's like, I hope like this doesn't happen, but I'm just like, I mean, I can make something shake if I need something to shake. So like, I'm not worried about it. So it wasn't that. It was just really being so connected. Like I had worked there for almost 10 years in the same school with the same kids and the same families and siblings. Like I felt sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't, any mom that comes on here to share their story, to let their voice be heard, say what you have to say.
Yeah.
Don't second guess what you have to say. And don't worry about what the next person is going to have to say about what you said.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right? Because some people need to hear it in a different perspective, different light, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, you walk through it and you're still standing, you're still becoming, and that's what matters most.
100%. Yep. Yep. I totally agree.
With that being said, what does freedom really mean to you and your family now
Yes.
that you're homeschooling?
Oh my gosh, I know. It's funny because as I said, I'm like, I'm going to make money. So of course I started a little LLC business situation. So it's called Homeschool for Freedom. And I mean, the real tactical definition for me and for us right now is just like freedom to learn what we want to learn, when we want to learn it, how we want to learn it, freedom of time, and financial freedom. Like those three, like freedom to learn, freedom of time, freedom of financial. And I think, we're hoping to get to like freedom of wherever we want to be too, right? And like live in different places and things like that. So that's like the, easy way to put it. I like a good bulleted list. I like a short and sweet, but I think like for us now in the day to day, it really is just small things like waking up when we want to wake up, taking breaks when we want to take a break, whether that's like in the day or a whole day or a whole week if we need to. It's like using our time how we want to. It's learning early one day, learning late another day, like really just going with the flow in terms of how things feel for us. That's not to say, there aren't every day. I saw this on TikTok or somewhere recently. Every day I'm like, okay, it's time to start lessons. And it's like, what? Like, why are you confused? This is literally every day. Why is there that confused? Why did I hear like a huff and a puff? I'm like, sir, this is every day. So it's not to say that like we don't have, expectations and like my child's just out here frolicking all day. But, it is leaning more into that. And like I did a vision board party with some other homeschool moms. And one of the things on my board that made it to my board is like protect the fun. And I think that's part of for us right now. I have 2 young kids and it's just like, let's just have fun and like protect that. Like let them be children for as long as they can be children, because the world, especially for Black boys, is going to push them to grow up sooner than they need to. So that's a little bit of what that freedom looks like for us.
I love that you shared that.
Yeah.
How did your background as an educator help or challenge you as a homeschool mom in the beginning?
Yeah. I think in the beginning, like having experience teaching someone to read before, having experience, like math is my thing. I was a 5th grade math teacher. I'm all about it. Like, so I think I was, and I'm still not, like, I'm not scared about teaching someone a concept and like of the actual academic piece. I think definitely, so that was a huge help. But I think in the part that it challenged me a bit is like I think the first like couple days I was like, what are we gonna do? Because we're done already. Like in my mind, I was like, oh, this is gonna take the whole day. And it was like, he's kindergarten and we just learned about the letter A and we wrote it and we like danced and like drew it in the air. Now what? Like it was just like, okay. So I think I had to figure out like how to be a homeschool teacher and
Mhm.
not just, which is like actually just be a mom, teach them, and then like, okay, I guess we're gonna go to the park and I guess we might go grocery shopping, which feels kind of weird. Like, can I bring my kid to the grocery store in the middle of the day on a Tuesday? Like, is that allowed? Like, that's very weird at first. Like, how long can we spend at the park? Like, it just, and granted, I also had a May, June, July, like a 3, 4 month old at the time too. So I'm like, he needs to nap. So I'm still like trying to figure that out too.
Right.
But and then there's the whole thing of screen time. Can you be like, well, you kind of need to watch something right now because I had to put the baby down. Like it just was weird all around. So I think that challenged me more than any other parent maybe because I had this expectation of like, this is what school's going to look like. Like I used to coach kindergarten teachers. I know what kindergarten is going to look like. And then I was like, we're done. Like we did the songs, we did circle time, we did the math lesson. I don't know what else we can do. Like you're
Just
done.
working
I'm done.
out.
Right? Take a nap. I'm not sure. So yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say a typical day is like for your family now?
Yeah. So a typical day, if there is such a thing, because I feel like we just do, every day is kind of, I don't want to say random, but some days we meet friends, some days we don't. But like if a typical day that we're like in the house, maybe like we'll wake up maybe around 8, 9. I've been trying to do a better job of like, let's eat breakfast and get into lessons. Cause like some days we would just like hang out, go for a walk. I like to start the day some days for a walk. And that's what I mean. Like some days I'm like, I feel like we need to walk. For some days I'm like, oh, everyone's really focused. Let me just actually pull out our lessons now and we knock them out. Like some days we pull our lessons out at like 9:30 and we're done with them by like 10:30 or 11. We take breaks in between and do them at our leisure, honestly. But we get done at 10:30, 11. I'm like, okay, let's go to the park. The other day we missed did you do Book It as a kid? The Pizza Hut like Book It challenge?
No.
It was like this big thing when I was a kid, and I found out that they still do it. It's basically you just read over the summer and you get a free personal pan pizza for if you read a certain amount of time. So we did that over the summer, but our September was crazy, so we never redeemed it. And of course, I'm like, I feel like kids just remember so much. The other day he's like, wait a second, did we get our last pizza? I was like, oh my God. I was like, how do you remember this? It is
Yeah.
October. So like we went to the park from 11:30 to 12. 12, we got our pizza from Pizza Hut, had our lunch, and then what did we end up doing for the afternoon? Went to the park, maybe watched a couple SciShow Kids. I might have had a call, like I mix in client calls here and there. And then I've been trying to start dinner early because sometimes I'm just so tired and I'm like, it's 6 o'clock. Why are we eating now? So I've been trying to like dinner started at like 4:30. So then we can just eat at 5, go on a walk, or they'll play, my husband, when he's done working, they will play street hockey for a long time. And even the 17-month-old is out there with a hockey stick trying to do something. So they spend a lot of time in that driveway after hour. So yeah, that's not really a great answer, but it's like we wake up when we want to wake up. We do our lessons, and our lessons are typically reading, writing, math. When I say writing, it's like handwriting and grammar, read aloud, and then something else. And I've been trying to do Spanish every day too. We started a Spanish curriculum. So then it's like also either art, music, history, or science also that day. So like we do those when we feel like it. We go to the park when we feel like it. Some days we find friends and we'll play with them. Some days we'll go to like Lego Discovery or Hyper Kids and get out in that way. So it's kind of just random right now.
That's a typical day.
Right. Very typical. Just like go with the flow, get the list done at some point. It's not really a schedule.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. So it can free up some fluster for other moms.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
For you, with balance, being a homeschooling mom and a project manager, how do you make space for you?
Well, so I started teaching Pure Bar again, which I know sounds like another job, but it's like fun for me. It's like
Mhm.
my thing. I get to drive 20 minutes to Virginia and teach. And sometimes I stay if I'm like, I'm just going to stay for an hour, another hour, and I take class. So that is huge for me too, is like working out is time for me. So I do that and then drive home. So that's like my podcast time. That's my like affirmations time in the car. Sometimes I'm recording my own podcast in the car. So that time is good. Sometimes I will say, like, I know everybody like preaches consistency, and I'm the person who will like be super consistent on something for a minute and then I fall off and I'm like, it's fine. I'm just going to do something else, or I'll pick it back up when I want to. So like there was a time when time for me was like getting up before everybody got up and going for a walk. And I
Mhm.
like loved that for a good few months. And it was just like, this is my thing right now. And then I don't know why I fell off, but like maybe I'll do that again at some point. So working out, going for a walk. I have a Peloton in the basement that I try to get on. I don't do as well with that, but that is also time for me. Recently, there's a group of us that are all in the same co-op, and we're the moms. There's three of us. We have February birthdays. So when our birthdays all came up and we all realized we had February birthdays, we started doing like dinners, like, hey, let's go out. We went for like our birthday dinner, and now we gone for a second time recently. So, like finding time to go meet up with friends, have dinner with friends. I've been trying to have dinner with one of my college friends for a minute, but we'll do it at some point. So that is also our time. And then like it's in our parents, both of our parents live far away. So we don't even have like childcare necessarily here. But when they do come, we usually try to be like, hey, you're going to babysit. We're going on a date night. Yes. So we do that. And then the last thing that might not sound like it's for me, but it is for me because it helps with freeing up my mind and like making me less stressed throughout the week, is we have a babysitter who comes every Tuesday.
Okay.
So she does review with him or virtual, like ABC or whatever, I don't know, or Beast Academy online, stuff
Mhm.
that he can do mostly independently or she can help him with, and then like review workbooks. So he
Mhm.
does that. That's his Tuesday academics. And then she just basically babysits. So they like go to the park, they play, they do all the things. Sometimes I'll leave like art projects out and stuff. They can do that. He's been really into origami with her. But I say that to say, because Tuesdays are my day to like knock out as much client work as possible. And
Mhm.
that has been super helpful because then throughout the other days, I'm not like feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to stay up really late or get up really early to get everything done. I've like knocked out a big chunk, and it's just kind of like light work basically throughout the rest of the week. So that has been super helpful. And I'm very grateful to have found, our babysitter was her sister, and then her sister became unavailable. And now she'd be like, but I think my sister could help. I'm like, please. So fingers crossed that, because, finding a sitter for one day a week during the work week is kind of random. He's great. So I'm very thankful that we found her and that this has been working.
Good that you were able to incorporate it for you, no
Yeah.
matter how it looks, as
Right.
long as it makes you happy and you can make time for yourself to do what needs
Yep.
to be done. It
Yep.
looks wonderful.
I agree.
Yes. Mm. You mentioned wanting to live overseas part time.
Yes.
How does that tie into your vision of education and freedom for your kids?
Yeah. So our goal is to like basically live in America over the summer. Like that's it. Like every other month we are not here. So I'm ready. My husband still has a job where he has to go into the office like once or twice a week. So I'm like, I'm just waiting on you. Like, whenever you're ready to make this move. But for us, we both were very lucky enough to travel a lot when we were young. And I think we both like high school young. And so I think we both reflected on that even when we were just dating, on how like that really impacted us, of just seeing that there's so much more to the world than just where you've grown up. And so I think that for us is part of education, right? And learning and becoming who you ultimately will become as an adult, or who you're always becoming even as a grown up. But part of becoming is like seeing different places and interacting with different people and learning about the world. And so that is important for us, for our children. And ultimately, location freedom feels just exciting because we like to travel and we like to see other things. And to be completely honest, America is not, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say all this because, people are always censoring, but like America, I really want to say something that is probably inappropriate, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Let's just say that, like going to other places, you're like, I understand why places look at America the way that they do, because there are opportunities and there's certain things, but like there are a lot of things that are a lot better in other places too. So we're just excited and from a Black man, for my husband, like we've been to a couple places where he's like, I just feel so much safer here, like, and more comfortable, like just being in my skin. So there's that too, which is real. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Okay. You're now helping other homeschooling moms. Give me one of a biggest fear or roadblock you see them facing?
I think one of the things that always pops off when I post about it, and it's aligned to one of my digital products, and that's mostly how I'm helping homeschool moms now, although I'm excited because I'm planning something big. But I think one of the things that always pops off is like the whole planning. Like people are like, I don't know how to plan, or I need to get better at planning and all this. And I'm like, it actually doesn't need to be all that. Like, let's just make it a lot simpler. It's to your point of like, if it works for you and it makes you good, that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be this like big extravagant thing. And so, I created a planner for me that I think is really simple to use and like real, like basic. It's pretty open-ended so that you can make it as detailed or as not detailed as you need it to be to work for you and for your kids. So that's one of the things that like whenever I post about it, I always get responses that are like, I need help with this. I know I need to be more structured to that. And it's like, maybe you don't, but like part of it is it needs to be what it needs to be for you to feel prepared and less stressed and calm and focused, or whatever you are striving to feel. That's what your planning needs to be. It's not what someone else says it should be. It's what it needs to be for you to feel good. So that's probably one of the biggest things that people get like tripped up about or in their head about, of like, how do I plan? What do I need it to be? And it's like, it's not that complicated. It doesn't have to be that much. It's really just what works for you.
Yeah. What encouragement or advice would you give a mom who's curious about homeschooling but feels overwhelmed or unqualified?
Yeah. One, even though I have a background in teaching, so the whole unqualified piece is like, I just follow the curriculum. Like, let's be honest, even as a teacher, I'm like, this curriculum is quality. And I will say that having an education background, I feel confident in the curriculum I picked because I'm like, I've taught kids. I know that this is going to connect, and I know my child. And that's the other thing. As a parent, even if you don't have an education degree, you know your child. So you can read a lesson and say, is my child going to figure this out? And even if you are not 100% sure, one lesson or a week of lessons is not going to throw off your kid's whole life. Like if you do a curriculum for a week, a month, a year even, like you can always come back to it. I will say we did our reading curriculum and he's still like lukewarm on it. And I went back to lesson 1 over the summer.
Okay.
Like literally we got to lesson 53 and I went back to lesson 1 and I was like, we're just going to see how this goes. And it's so much better. And that's as a former teacher. So like you can always rewind, redo. And he's still on, I did the assessment. He's still the 89th percentile on reading. Like even still with him, us having our struggles. So like, even if
Mhm.
you feel like you're not doing well, there are also, I know a lot of us homeschoolers like anti-assessment. I'm like, give me an assessment so I can just have understanding. I'm
Yeah,
not
where they're at.
trying to compare him, but anyway, so I'm getting off track, but yes, you know, your child, the curriculum is there. It is, most of them are really good. And a quick Facebook group search, a quick TikTok search is going to give you the popular curriculum. And like, they're popular for a reason. Not all of them are good, but like
Mhm.
most of the popular ones aren't going to be horrible and aren't going to like teach your child something wrong.
Yeah.
So if you need that, you know, reassurance, use the curriculum. You also know your child really good, and there's so many resources. Like, you could not use a curriculum and still come up with something really good. Chat GPT can give you what you need to teach your kid, which is crazy, but it can. So
Yeah.
there's that in terms of like the qualified piece. In terms of the overwhelm piece, like, one, I have a starter guide that's like the 8 things I did, and that's it, to start homeschooling. And it's simple stuff. And it's because I wasn't overwhelmed because I'm new to education. I was overwhelmed because I was pregnant and had an infant. And I was like, I can't do a lot. So I
Mhm.
literally was like, after we started homeschooling, I'm like, there are a lot of people who are in my shoes that like can't do, they're busy. They're like, it's a lot. It feels like a lot. So like, what are the, like, let me just outline exactly what I did. And it's just
Yeah.
8 simple things. Like, first, I researched the laws. Second, I started researching curriculum. Then I looked into co-ops, like real basic, super simple. Then I ordered the materials off of Amazon. I literally was like, okay, we need pencils, we need paper, because I didn't have any of this really. And you
Yeah.
know, kindergarten, from a preschooler, like, he had educational toys, but I didn't have necessarily, we had crayons and stuff, but I didn't have like, so like, here's the list of the stuff I ordered. So yeah, I think just starting with knowing your laws, your state laws, and making sure you can comply with those, and researching curriculum, and start with reading and math, period. Like, don't try to do a science curriculum or a history curriculum to start. You can pull in those resources as you go and then pick a curriculum, but like, for the first month or two, just do science and math, and like, figure out what you're going to do after they finish their lessons in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
get comfortable with that, and then
Mhm.
be like, okay, we're in a flow with reading and math. Let me pull stuff in. And obviously, if that's allowed with your state, but I'm not trying to tell
Yeah.
somebody to like do something that then will get them in trouble. But I mean, if you can, just start small.
And which is why the first thing that you stated is check your laws.
Right. Right.
Yep. And thank you for dropping those gems because a lot of people need it. And then not only are you sharing them, but you're a resource for them to learn further. So I'll make sure I drop a couple of those gems for them also in the description section to get them, connected with you even more. So that would be great.
Thank you. That would be awesome.
What does torch mom mean to you?
Hmm. It's interesting because when I first saw the name of your podcast, I was like, what is that? And I literally was like, I feel like it just means like, you're like, obviously I'm picturing a torch, but I'm just like, I imagine a torch being like the person who is setting something on fire in a good way, right? Like, this is like, I am blazing a path for like
Mm.
myself, for my children, for my family, for others. And I'm not, to your point, like, I'm not hiding it. I'm not like shying away from it. Even if I'm an introvert, I'm still like, this is my path for my family and me as a mom. And I'm excited to like share and bring that for other moms too. So
I love your perspective.
was that aligned with like your vision?
It's aligned with the vision and everything about a mom. So I love
Yeah,
it.
true, true.
Yep,
Yeah.
most definitely. Yeah. How do you remind moms that they can lead their children's learning without losing themselves in the process?
Hmm, that's good. I'm like, I don't know how you could lose yourself. Like, so much of leading a child in learning is learning about you. Like, you learn your triggers more, you learn where you're very patient, you learn where you're very impatient. You learn what excites you, you learn what bores you. Like, and I think if you're not aware of who you are showing up as, you risk like putting some things on your child that might not be them and it's you. Like, I have to be honest. I probably shouldn't say this, but like history, I really am not a history person. I just don't. So I'm like, let's pull out this history. And he's all into it. I'm like, okay, Erica, you got to step your game up because like he's into it, you know? So like I don't see how someone could lose themselves when teaching. I feel like you are heightened about like who you are when teaching your child. And it's good because you can share those things with your child, you know, whether they're good or not great. And like, maybe there's no judgment on any of it. Like, you know, I probably should tell my son, like, I'm not really into history. So I need you to like hold me accountable to our history lessons, you know, and that's real, right? We're human. We're not all going to love everything. So do I need to show up and fake it? Probably not. So yeah, I think teaching your child helps you become more of who you are and be really aware.
Being a mother is so great.
Yes, it really is.
If
I
you
actually,
could,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
if you could speak to the Erica who was still working as a principal, what would you tell her about the life waiting on the other side of fear?
So like thinking about the fear that I felt around like leaving and getting, I would definitely, one, I would be like, it's not that serious. You need to relax. Like all that is in your head right now, you are going to be a person who is just, it's interesting because people thought I was so confident as a principal and I was not. I'm like a way more confident person. And part of that is because I started a business. So I would say like, girl, just follow your gut because you know that this is not right for you and you know that there's something that's more aligned and right for you on the other side. So like follow your gut and know that all of the challenges you're having right now, which are really lessons, are going to be just that. They're going to help you to become more of yourself and who you want to be. And even though it's not going to be perfect, there's still challenging days. I mean, you know, it's funny being in a marriage, right? Because you're just like the things I say to my husband every day, like, this is crazy. We need to do this better. Like, I'm always like, what are we doing? But I've been doing also a lot of like gratitude and reflecting. Like, I am so grateful for where I am. And so like, just reminding myself that like, you're going to get to a point where you're just like, there's a lot to be grateful for. And you'll become more every day, every month, every year, you're going to see like how you are becoming more and more of who the person you hope that you could be and like experience some of the things you hope that you can experience. And like, I know even more of those things are coming for me. So yeah, just those little reminders, a little pep talk.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I've been giving myself pep talks now. So
Yeah, man, I got to give myself a lot of pep talks.
yeah.
Like my wife says, you know, I'm all with you talking to yourself, babe.
Yep.
I'm all with that.
I found this person on YouTube who's like, you need to do mirror work. And I'm like, mirror work? So I'm like literally in the car in the rear view mirror, like, I am so proud of you.
Okay. Yeah. Let it be known to her. Let it be known to her.
So I just started that like this week. I was like, okay, this is weird, but I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go full in and see how it feels.
And you're gonna feel it.
Yes.
That's exciting. I'm glad you shared that.
What's so crazy is my second year teaching, I was teaching special education 4th and 2nd graders. And it was rough to the point where my coach, she was like, she left my classroom the first time and she was like, Erica, I've never told a teacher that I don't know what to tell them. And I don't know what to tell you right now. I need some time to reflect and I'll give you feedback later. Because it was that bad. So one of the things I attribute to, so by the end of that year, we made like double digits gains. Like it was a full turnaround situation. And one of the things that I attribute to that is every day driving to work, I literally started saying out loud, I love, and I said every kid's name. And I just on repeat for the entire drive, which is like, I love Princess. I love Keandre. Like I literally every single name, and I did not stop until I got there. And I really think that that changed my mindset, which then like changed the way I was like approaching them. Cause I mean, if my coach said it was bad, I was not being like, not that I was being mean to them, but I was like frustrated. Like it was behavior issue. Like it was bad. It was like cursing, throwing stuff, like eloping. It was bad.
Yeah.
And so like, I was not being like, so driving to work. So yeah, I say all that to say, when she said mirror work, I was like, oh, you've been doing this, but you just didn't, like, you weren't licking the mirror, but you were saying out loud, you know? So I'm like, well, I may need to say out loud all the other things
Yeah.
over and over.
I love it. Yeah. What kind of legacy do you hope your children carry forward from this way of living and learning?
Yeah. They're so young that, like, I don't necessarily have, and I don't know if any parent ever, I don't know, because I don't never had a 30-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have like adult children. So I don't know if you ever get to a point where you're like, you know, I know that my child is going to make an impact on education or on politics or something like, so I don't have that type of like legacy that I hope, but I feel like my biggest thing for them is I hope that they, and this is, I just hope that they are like happy and confident and healthy and listen to themselves, whether that be their body, their feelings, their emotions, their brain, what it's saying. Like, I hope that they learn from this that like it's important to foster really strong relationships and to, you know, have care for other people, but like number one is you, and like caring for your body and caring for like your health, mental, emotional, physical, and not and that's not selfish, and you can do that with also being caring for others. I just feel like so much of homeschooling is like selfish because it's like that one kid, right? And I think selfish has such a negative connotation, and I mean it in actually like the most positive way possible, and not meaning that because I feel in society we really have strong either or thinking, and I like really try to encourage myself and my kids to like have both and like you can care deeply about yourself and care deeply about other people. Like you can, both things can be true at the same time. And I think we oftentimes like lose ourselves. At least I know I have. And I just hope that they don't. And I hope that that helps them to be the best version of themselves so that they can pursue whatever makes them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's well said. Well said.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any upcoming projects or ventures you're excited about?
Absolutely. Yes, I am. So I'm scared excited about doing a homeschool expo in the DC area. So my goal is to host a Homeschool for Freedom Expo in summer 2026. And the goal is to have 1,000+ families come and just have a weekend of speakers and workshops and like a teen activity section and a kids activity section and a bunch of vendors where like you can see the curriculum and see different people who might be a resource for you as a homeschooler, and just have a great weekend, like connecting with people and finding community, like having a bunch of co-ops there and all the things. So I'm thinking real big. I literally, what is it, October? I just started like moving this idea forward. So what will be, will be. Yeah. And I feel like super vulnerable and super risky in that like, this could not happen. And I know that. And I'm like being super public about like, we're doing an expo. And like, if I don't get enough money, I'm not doing it because like, well, not to say I won't do it. It will just not happen next summer.
Yeah.
So there's that piece. But for right now, October, November, December, and January, the big focus is on like sponsors and getting sponsors. So if anybody knows someone who wants to be in front of a bunch of homeschoolers, which are essentially parents, so like parent sponsors too, that align with the vision of like homeschool for freedom and inclusivity, and this is for everyone. And if there is like it is not going to be a religious expo. It is not going to be solely secular. It'll probably lean more secular. It is not going to be, for one group of people in that, but it is like you can't have hate against a certain group of people and come. So like if there's sponsors that aligns with, like, I just want to be clear, like I'm not trying to have people who are like, I only bang with religious people. No, we're not doing that. So yeah, that's the vision. I'm excited about it. And, I project manage for other clients where I hope I execute and plan and execute their events. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this for my community and build my community in this way. So I'm really excited.
Well, I'm excited too, because I want to be there.
Yes. And I want you to be there and all of your friends. Bring
Yeah.
everybody.
So include me in that 1,000 and a
Yes.
couple of my homeschool friends too.
Yes. Go ahead and
let's go.
Check it off. Yes, I'm excited. So the wait list is up now, and then I'm going to start like heavy sponsorship push for like the next 4 months. So
okay, well, send me the link for the wait list so we can add it to the description section for some of the moms who want to be there too. So that'd be cool.
Yes, and you obviously don't have to live in DC. Like there's people who have commented like, I'm in New York and I love a good road trip, and it's DC. So like field trip, expo, combo, easy.
It's an expo. Come out from everywhere. We love a good global event.
Yes, that's across the country. Let's make it countrywide.
Yes, please.
Yes.
If you could sum up your motherhood journey in one word, what would it be and why?
Freeing, because I feel like I was trying to fit into a specific box before becoming a mom, like real hard worker, do the right thing, and like, not to say I don't care now, but like I just have a different way about me that like me and my children and family come first. So like if I'm not for you, I'm not for you. And I'm also not going to work super hard because I need energy to be with a 6-year-old and a 17-month-old. So like just free, like I don't wake up to an alarm. I rarely set, I set my alarm on Friday mornings because I teach Pure Barre at 6 a.m. because I want to. But like, so freeing, like I don't set an alarm. I don't, like I just, there's a lot about me that was one way that is more free now, down to like small things like setting an alarm or going for walks in the middle of the day whenever I want to, like that type of stuff. So
having those options.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you'd like to share with our audience, or is there anyone you'd like to give flowers to before we close out?
Oh, that's such a cute question. There's nothing else I'd like to share other than, I always do that. I'm like, nope, other than. So there is something I'd like to share. I would like to say thank you. I appreciate this platform so much and this conversation. Like you asked really good questions, and I'm grateful for the time that it forced me to reflect. So I really, really appreciate that. And I'm excited to listen to it back because I'm like, I need to hear it. I feel like I said something good right there. I need to listen to myself again. So I'm thankful, like super thankful for that. So that'll be my first flowers. And then to you. And then there's so many that I feel like I could give, but I feel like I always, and this is so like, this is not my Grammy, but like, I feel like my mom, right? Like she's so good. She's such a good grandma, like such a good grandma. They love her. And I'm just grateful that she's here and that she does all the things that she does for them, even being in New York. Like my son's like, maybe we should call grandma because, like they just have such a good relationship. And I know that they love her so much, and I do too. And I'm just grateful for like who she helped me to become based off of just like who she is and how she is, and now how she's just loving on my children. So yeah.
Well, flowers to mama.
I know. This is the Torch Mom podcast. So like she
deserves it. Yeah.
That works.
Right. Yeah. Erica, thank you so much for sharing your insights, experiences, and space with us today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. We're so grateful for your time, your energy, your wisdom you poured into the conversation. Your story is a gift and a reminder that none of us are in this alone. If you love today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another mom who needs to hear this. If you have experiences or questions to share, send us an email to the torchmompodcast at gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at the Torchmom Podcast. Didn't have a backstage pass to check out the live stream? It'll be available for viewing on our YouTube channel, the Torch Mom Podcast. So be sure to subscribe, like, and share. Negativity is forbidden and energy is power. Remember, what you desire, you already have. We love you. Stay tuned.